All right, let's jump into another deep dive. You guys really wanted to hear about personal finance and investing, so you sent over this super interesting interview with Ramit Sethi.
Oh, the finance guy.
Yep, he's kind of like the guru.
An author, right?
And it's from that YouTube channel, Diary of a CEO.
Okay, cool.
So let's break it down.
Yeah, I think his perspective is really cool because it's not just about, like having a ton of money.
Right.
It's about building a rich life, whatever that means for you.
And he really digs deep into what that actually means.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because most of us just, we think, oh, I want freedom.
Yeah.
But we haven't really figured out
Totally.
what that really looks like, right?
Yeah, it's all vague.
So he challenges you to get, ridiculously specific.
Okay, I like it.
Picture your ideal Saturday morning. Are you, I don't know, on your patio sipping coffee, hitting up the farmer's market?
Ooh, a fancy hotel breakfast buffet.
Maybe. Or jetting off on some, spontaneous weekend trip. But, think about the details.
Okay.
What airline seat do you prefer? That kind of thing.
Wow, that's detailed. But honestly, it makes so much sense.
Right, because if you don't actually know what you're aiming for,
Yeah.
how are you going to make those, smart money choices?
Totally. It's like grocery shopping with no list.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that level of detail, it's like your financial GPS,
I love that analogy.
guiding your decisions, helping you figure out what really matters.
So are we saving up for that trip or that house?
Well, speaking of houses, Sethi goes after this whole homeownership myth, and I was really into that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's drilled into us that owning is always the best investment.
Totally.
But he's like, hold on a second.
Right.
He points out all these hidden costs that we forget about, beyond just the mortgage itself.
It's more than just the down payment, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. So he talks about stuff like maintenance.
Oh, maintenance, yeah.
Ever had to replace a roof?
Ugh, don't even get me started.
Ouch. Right. Then there's property taxes.
Yeah.
And also, your money might actually grow faster somewhere else.
True.
And then renting gives you way more flexibility, especially when you're younger.
Makes sense.
And here's the kicker. Sethi himself rents.
No way.
If he's not rushing to buy, even though he knows all the financial stuff inside and out,
But if he's not doing it.
makes you think,
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
He's not saying buying is never good,
Yeah.
but it has to be a conscious decision.
Right.
You got to run the numbers, be honest with yourself. Is this really an investment? Or am I just falling for all the pressure?
Yeah, that emotional pressure. Yep.
So, okay, let's say we've got our rich life vision. We're making good choices about housing.
Yeah.
How do we actually grow our money? Sethi is big on this simple long-term investing.
Yes. He's all about boring investing.
I love that.
He loves target date funds. They're like your robo-advisor. You pick your retirement year and they automatically adjust the stocks and bonds. So you don't have to be a Wall Street whiz.
So you're saying I don't need to learn all the crazy stock stuff?
Nope. It's all about the power of compounding.
Okay, now compounding, that's
It's like a financial snowball.
I need an example.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to wrap my head around.
Okay, imagine this. You invest $5,000 at age 16.
Okay, 16.
Let's say it grows at a modest 7% each year,
7%, all right.
which is, pretty reasonable long term.
Yeah.
By the time you hit 50, that initial 5,000, it's magically transformed over $736,000.
Wait, over 700,000 just from 5,000?
That's the power of time. And you didn't need any fancy stock skills.
That's wild. So it's all about playing the long game.
Exactly. Let time and compounding do their thing.
Okay, while we've got time on our side, how can we supercharge those returns?
You're talking about boosting that earning power.
Hit me with it.
Sethi gives some really practical advice, and he uses a personal trainer as an example.
Okay, I'm listening.
To double their income, there are 3 key things.
3 things. All right, lay them on me.
First, find more clients, pretty straightforward.
Makes sense.
Second, increase the value you bring to each client.
Okay, how?
Offer extra services like meal planning, group sessions, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And third, get clients to commit for longer contracts.
So it's kind of like diversifying your income streams?
Exactly, just diversifying your investments.
I like it.
And he even suggests thinking about moving to a different city
Really?
where your skills might be more valuable, more in demand.
Interesting. Okay, now let's talk crypto.
Ooh, hot topic.
Right. It's been making waves lately.
For sure.
What does Sethi think?
He sees the potential, like with blockchain technology,
Yeah.
but he's cautious about going all in on crypto, especially if it's driven by, FOMO.
Fear of missing out,
Exactly. That, gotta get rich quick mentality.
which can be super tempting,
Oh, totally.
but also really risky.
Big time.
So he advises, keeping your crypto exposure small, like a little side bet.
Yeah, not your main investment strategy.
And he had this interesting story about how hardly anyone would admit to him that they lost money in crypto.
Oh, interesting.
It's like, we only share the wins,
It's true.
but we got to be honest with ourselves about the losses too.
Definitely. And not get swept up in the hype.
Okay, let's move on to Sethi's 10 money rules.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
There's a lot there, but I want to focus on a few that I think you'll really connect with.
Okay, which ones?
Well, rule 9. Prioritize time outside the spreadsheets.
I like that one.
Right. It's a reminder that a rich life isn't just about optimizing your finances.
It's about enjoying life, too.
Exactly. We
Right.
got to have time to actually live that rich life.
For sure.
What about you? What resonated with you?
I really like Rule 8.
Which one's that?
Earn enough to work only with people you respect and like.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. It reminds you that you have choices.
You don't have to settle.
No way.
And then there's rule 10.
Okay.
Marry the right person.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
And not just for love, but for financial compatibility too.
Absolutely. Your partner's money habits can make or break you,
Seriously. And that kind of leads into this other big theme in the interview.
which is,
Talking openly about money.
communication is key.
Sethi really stresses that it's crucial, especially with your partner.
Yeah, even if it's awkward.
He actually shares his own experience, like bringing up prenups with his wife.
Wow, that's personal.
Yeah, and it led to some, tough conversations.
I bet.
But ultimately, it helped them understand each other better.
It's all about understanding.
He's also very open about how a therapist helped them navigate their different money views.
Oh, interesting.
She was more about safety, he was more about growth.
That's a common dynamic.
Right. And sometimes getting an outside perspective could be really helpful.
For sure.
So, what's been resonating with you the most so far from this deep dive?
Honestly, just how much emphasis he puts on defining your rich life and aligning your finances with that.
Right, it's not just about the numbers.
It's about crafting a life you love, intentionally.
And for me, it's definitely been challenging those ingrained beliefs, about homeownership.
Yeah.
It's made me really rethink my assumptions about building wealth.
I love that. It's about finding what works for you.
Not just following the crowd.
Exactly. And there's so much more to unpack.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started.
You ready to dive back in?
Absolutely, let's go.
You know what's really cool? Sethi really gets into how psychology plays into money. It's not just numbers.
Yeah, that whole emotional side of things.
Right. We think finance is all rational, but our emotions are messing with us in the background.
And we don't even realize it half the time.
Exactly. He talked about how our childhood experiences, with money,
Oh yeah.
can totally shape how we act with money, even as adults.
Even if those early lessons aren't true anymore.
Totally. He gave this powerful example. People who grew up hearing, we can't afford that, all the time.
Oh, I know people like that.
They can end up super anxious about spending.
Even if they're making good money now.
Exactly. It's those money scripts are stuck on repeat in their heads.
Running into the background, totally.
And it's not just our families either, right?
Nope.
We're bombarded with images of wealth on social media,
Constantly.
making it so easy to compare ourselves.
And then we try to keep up with the Joneses, even if it means overspending.
And on stuff we don't even care about.
Totally. So Sethi's all about define your version of a rich life,
Not someone else's.
aligned with your values, right?
Exactly. And remember those specific details we talked about?
Yeah.
This is where they come in handy.
Like his money dials concept.
Oh, I love that.
Figuring out what you're happy to splurge on, and then cutting back ruthlessly on the stuff you don't care about.
Yeah. Guilt-free spending on the things that truly matter to you.
It's said he loves luxury hotels right now.
Yeah. He's all about the travel experience.
But he drives a pretty normal car.
Because it's just not a priority.
So it's not about deprivation. It's about choosing what you want to prioritize.
Conscious spending.
Okay, let's shift back to investing for a bit.
Okay.
We talked about target date funds earlier, but Sethi goes deeper into how to actually get started.
Yeah, he really breaks it down, which is great for beginners.
Totally.
First, pick a low-cost brokerage firm.
Any recommendations?
He likes Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab.
Okay, those are familiar.
They're the discount supermarkets of investing.
I love that analogy.
You get the same quality, but, Less fancy, lower fees.
Smart. What's next?
Set up automatic transfers, like from your checking account to your investment account.
Oh, each month.
Exactly. So you're investing consistently without even thinking about it.
Putting it on autopilot.
Exactly. And he suggests checking your investments maybe a few times a year. That's it.
Not every day like I'm tempted to do.
Don't do that. You'll get caught up in all the short-term noise.
Yeah, that market drama.
Stay focused on the long game. That's Sethi's mantra.
Marathon, not a sprint. Right.
Yes. And he's really against trying to get rich quick.
Like those shiny object schemes.
Oh, yeah. Whether it's crypto, meme stocks, whatever's trendy.
He used this great analogy.
Oh, tell me.
It's like going to the gym once and expecting six-pack abs.
Aha, I love it.
It just doesn't work that way.
No quick fixes. Building wealth takes time, consistency, and smart decisions.
It's the fundamentals, like choosing good investments, minimizing those fees.
Speaking of fees, he pointed out that even small charges, like 1% annually,
Which seems tiny.
can totally eat away at your returns over time, especially with compounding.
Right, it's like death by 1,000 cuts.
He even showed it with a calculator how much those fees add up over like decades.
It's scary. Those percentages can turn into like huge sums.
So start early, invest regularly, and go for low-cost options.
Solid advice. Okay, let's tackle something that can be a bit tricky.
What's that?
Talking about money.
Oh, yeah, that can be tough,
But it's crucial for like financial well-being.
especially in relationships.
Sethi is a big advocate for open communication, particularly with your partner.
Totally. It's fundamental.
He even shared how he brought up prenups with his wife.
Ooh, brave.
It wasn't easy, but it helped them understand each other's money values.
All about understanding, right?
He even said they talked to a therapist about it.
That's awesome that they were willing to do that.
Sometimes you need that outside perspective.
Definitely. So he's saying these conversations might be hard, but they build trust.
And alignment as a couple.
And he had some tips for those conversations too.
Like what?
Be curious, listen actively, and try to understand your partner's point of view.
Not just trying to win the argument.
Exactly. And find those natural moments to bring up money,
Like when?
planning a trip together, making a big purchase, that kind of thing.
Makes it less like formal and scary.
Right. Just make money talks a regular thing.
Not just when there's a problem.
Definitely. Sethi also noticed something interesting about how men and women approach money differently.
Oh, yeah.
He sees women often prioritizing safety and security,
And men.
more focused on growth and potential, like, higher returns.
Yeah, that seems to ring true.
Of course, it's a generalization.
Not everyone fits the mold.
Right. But it helps us understand those different viewpoints.
And why communication is so important.
So you can find a way that works for both partners.
For respecting everyone's comfort levels.
Exactly. And recognizing that those differences, they're not always inherent.
What do you mean?
They're often influenced by, like, societal messages we get about money and gender.
Ah, interesting.
So we can challenge those norms, you know,
create a more equal playing field.
where everyone feels empowered to make their own choices.
Love that. And isn't that like the core of Sethi's message?
Totally. It's about empowering people to take charge of their money.
And build a life they actually love.
Align your money with your values. That's the key.
And then actually take action to make it happen.
It's not enough to just, like, read a book and then do nothing.
You know, walk the walk.
Right. Take ownership. Build that dream life.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here.
So much good stuff.
Anything else that's really sticking out to you?
You know, I just love how practical and inspiring his advice is.
It's not just like, do this, do that.
He explains the why, which makes it way more motivating.
And he's all about taking action, not just like passively learning.
It's not enough to listen to us ramble on.
You got to actually implement these strategies.
Right. Make those changes in your own life.
Take control, build that future you want.
Now, speaking of personal reflection, let's switch gears one last time.
Right at the end of the interview, the host, Steven Bartlett, he asks Sethi about the biggest misconception people have about him.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought his answer was really telling.
Okay, what did he say?
He said, people think he has like this rigid formula for a rich life.
Oh, like a one-size-fits-all plan?
Yeah, that everyone should follow. Exactly.
But that's not really his style, is it?
Yeah. No, he actually pushes back against that idea pretty hard.
What does he say?
He's like, there's no one right way, you know?
It's about finding what works for you.
Exactly. He wants to give people the tools to create their own vision.
Not just copy his life.
Right. It's more about using his framework as a starting point.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that's where his I Will Teach You to Be Rich journal comes in.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
It's designed to help people, like, really explore their relationship with money.
And figure out what matters to them.
It's not just another budgeting spreadsheet or anything.
More like a self-discovery thing.
Yeah. It's got all these thought-provoking prompts.
Like what?
Like, picture your perfect Saturday morning.
Okay.
Brainstorm your dream travel destinations.
That's fun.
Even, like, think about the kind of people you want to be surrounded by.
That's deep.
It's all about getting to the heart of what truly brings you joy.
And then figuring out how money can help you get there.
And isn't that, like, the essence of what we've been talking about this whole time?
Yeah. Building a rich life, but not just about the money.
It's about those experiences, those relationships, that sense of purpose.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you really want our listener to take away from all this?
I think the biggest message is that building a rich life, it's not a destination.
It's a journey.
It's an ongoing process.
It takes self-awareness, being intentional, and really examining your beliefs about money.
And it starts by defining what rich means to you.
Not what anyone else tells you it should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't let yourself be limited by, like, expectations or societal norms.
Take charge, make those choices, and build a life that truly reflects you.
Such great advice. And if you're ready to dive deeper, I definitely recommend checking out Sethi's book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich.
And the journal. Don't forget the journal.
They're packed with practical tips, those insightful exercises.
A whole new way of thinking about money.
So remember, building wealth, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Patience, consistency, and a long-term vision.
But most importantly, align your finances with the life you want to live.
That rich life you've been dreaming of.
So start sketching out that vision, like, right now. What are you waiting for?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into personal finance and the rich life.
We'll see you next time.